Brought to you by Penguin.
The Passengers on the Hankyu Line by Hiro Arikawa. Read by Natsumi Kuroda. Translated by Alison Markin Powell. All manner of people from every walk of life, solo passengers, friends, couples, families, work colleagues, traverse the concourse at a brisk pace. But as they cross paths, the contents of each traveller's heart are a mystery known only to themselves. Hiro Arikawa. Author's note. At Takarazuka Station on the Hankyu Railway Line, the Takarazuka Line bound for Umeda in Osaka, and the Imazu Line that connects with the Kobe Line at Nishinomiya Kitaguchi Station converge in a Y shape, which in railway terminology is called a Y. Here you can also transfer to the JR Takarazuka Line, which makes Takarazuka Station a fairly large junction of 3 railway lines for this relatively regional, mountainous area in western Japan. Hankyu is a large private commuter railway line that operates in Kansai, as the area surrounding Kyoto, Osaka, and Kobe is known, and its signature maroon train cars with their distinctive retro interiors are very popular among railway buffs, as well as with young women. This story takes place along the Imazu Line, perhaps one of the lesser known among Hankyu's various train lines. Bound for Nishinomiya Kitaguchi. Takarazuka Station. Lone passengers, for the most part, show no expression, often appearing to be in their own world. They stare at the landscape whizzing by, or at the ads hanging inside the car, or, if their eyes do happen to wander around the carriage, they avoid meeting anyone else's gaze. Otherwise, they pass their time on the train in the usual ways, reading a book or listening to music or staring at their mobile phone. That is why a person alone without any kind of distraction, looking animated, is very conspicuous. On this particular day, the young woman who got on at Takarazuka Station and sat next to Masashi looked familiar, or at least he recognized her. If you were to transfer from the Imazu Line to the Takarazuka Line and ride one stop to Kiyoshi-Kojin Station, you would find Takarazuka Central Library. In the 5 years since Masashi had started working in an office, he would visit this library every 2 weeks or so. He did like to read, and sometimes he had research to do for work. But on days off when he didn't have plans, and since he didn't have a girlfriend, there wasn't really much else to do. So Masashi was enough of a regular that he soon got to know the library staff, as well as a couple of the other patrons. Enough to recognize when that pesky old guy was giving the librarian a hard time again, and so on. He remembered the young woman with the long, neat hair because he had once lost out to her in the scramble for a book. It was a buzzy new book that happened to be back on the shelf. This was only about a month after it had been published, so it seemed pretty lucky. In an instant, Masashi had reached for the book, but just as he did so, another hand suddenly snatched it away. With a frown, he looked round to see who had nabbed the book. An attractive young woman, and so any impulse to complain vanished. Men are weak. The young woman seemed unaware she had just snatched the book. She had not even seen him. Masashi watched, following after her for a few minutes, but gave up once it was obvious she was not letting it go. At the time, the young woman had been carrying a canvas tote bag featuring a certain internationally...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?